And welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am one Welsh Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to complete the rest of Jolly Roger's Lagoon and finish off this world once and for all. And to start things off, we are actually going to head on into this just exploded wall that I blew up in the previous part, because we can't get the Jiggy that's in this cavern just yet, because we do need an ability later on in the game to get hold of it. That Jiggy down there, we're not getting that for way later on. But we are going to need to use Kazooie's Talon Torpedo in order to gain access to this Cheeto page that the transparent thingy fish, whatever the hell this thing is holding. So basically, torpedo straight through it. I'm surprised the thing survives it, mind it. It's getting a bird sent straight through, well, and now at this point, a dragon sent straight through its stomach. I'm surprised it lives through that, but, you know, just send it through there, go open up the pipeway here, and, yeah, we can continue moving onwards. And much like the pipe in the previous part, this pipeway also leads up to a completely different world. This pipe leads to quite possibly, let's just say it's one of the least favourite worlds in the game. For me personally, and for many others who play this game, Grunty's Industries, and it's not much we're going to be doing through this pipeline because, well, there's literally nothing in here we can deal with, but I do recommend just popping in here, grabbing the Jinjo real quick, and then just leave almost immediately, because there's nothing you can do here. We're in here only to get hold of that Jinjo. And I believe that Jinjo actually applies for Grunty's Industry, but I'm not actually sure. Like, I always get really confused when you pick up a Jinjo in a different world you haven't unlocked. Like, does it count towards the total of the world you're currently in, or does it count towards the world you're going to later on? And it always throws me for a loop, and that's why I never really pay attention to the Jinjo numbers themselves when I'm collecting them. As long as the counter when I finish off a stage says, hey, you got all the Jinjos, I'm good. So yeah, that's a little thing that always confuses me, but I digress. Anyway, mother, Jesus, I hate these octopuses. Don't you just want to eat your cornflakes? Or ice eggs in this case? I don't know why I said cornflakes. Eat your cornflakes. They're nutritious and good for your health. What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, let's just break through this and get hold of this page. And you might notice there's a bunch of lockers down here. Well, one of these lockers, as you are probably going to be wondering, because, you know, the obvious reference is Davy Jones' locker. Well, that's it there. That's Davy Jones' locker. We'll be going inside there later down the line. And who are these other people who have lockers, you might be wondering? Well, these guys are all actually part of the Banjo Tooie team. All members of the team that worked on this game, basically. And some names you may recognize, some names you may not. But anybody who has been following Kickstarter recently and whatnot for Ukulele, well, you'll recognize a couple of key names here. Like, oh look, Grant Kirkhope, the magnificent musician that he is. I believe Steve Mails is in here somewhere. You know, there's basically a couple of these team members you may recognize from the Ukulele team as well. That's. But yeah, I don't know. I always like this room. It's nice to see the developers' names, you know, sort of archived somewhere here. Outside of the credits, you know, because obviously they're going to be in the fucking credits. That's the point of the credits, but I digress. However, unfortunately, we can't explore down there just yet. We do need to transform, because this world does have a proper transformation too, and we'll be going down there much later on. In fact, we won't be when we get the transformation. That's when we will be going into Davy Jones's locker as well. That's pretty much going to be one of the very, very, very final things we'll do in this world, and it is in this part we are finishing up Jolly Roger's Lagoon. Well, at least the first visit, in this part, ladies and gentlemen, is mainly what I'm gonna get at. But yeah, one thing that will probably throw a lot of people off as well when exploring this world for the first time, and even to this day this throws me off, is a lot of the walls look very similar. Like, the world doesn't have too many landmarks whenever you're going through the initial tunnels that connect all the segments together. Like, if you look at each of these segmented areas, you'll be able to realize, okay, this area is the one with the giant fish, because obviously there's a giant fish. But when you're going through all the tunnels, it may get a little confusing if you're exploring this world for the first time and not used to the layout, because a lot of the tunnels do look very similar to each other. At least that's what I feel. And I just wish there was a bit more, I guess, something to sort of get the tunnels to stand out more, so you don't find yourself wandering around wildly for hours. But I don't know. Anyway, that giant fish that we just blew up all his teeth for, kind of feel sorry for him. He needs to go to the dentist now, but we did need to do that because we need to basically gain access inside that fish's mouth. We need to go into the belly of the beast, if you will, and what is it with N64 games and going inside creatures? I mean, you got Zelda, you got this, got the bloody thing from the first game, what's his name, Clanker. What is it with Nintendo's infatuation with going inside creatures? It's disgusting. I never understood it. In fact, this entire area looks like the dungeon from Zelda Ocarina of Time, where you're inside the creature's belly, but I don't know, maybe I'm just drawing the parallel because it's both an N64 game or something, but I don't know, like all this inside, it looks like they just ripped the texture straight out of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'm sure that's not true. I'm pretty damn sure that's not true, because otherwise I can't imagine Nintendo letting that. But it just seems way too. It seems like a really common thing for Nintendo to have, and it's. I just don't understand the fascination. It's like the fascination Nintendo has with the boss type of enemies that have two hands and a floating decapitated head. Like that's in most Nintendo games. I don't know. It's just a little observation I've made. But anyway, we do need to come in here and save the lesbian stereotype there, which unfortunately doesn't give us a Jiggy right away. We do need to go and actually see Jolly in her place in his place even to get all of the Jiggy, which is unfortunate. And it's actually really weird as well, because in most cases in this game, when you have to, there's not really many cases in this game where you do a quest and you don't immediately get the Jiggy. Like later on, for example, there is a quest line where actually, a perfect quest line's in this world when we need to clear up the pig's pool. Once the pig's pool is cleared up properly, we don't actually need to revisit pigs in their own world. We need to, they ultimately teleport the Jiggy to us. I'm surprised they don't do that with this mission in particular. Maybe they wanted you to see the congratulations dialogue that Jolly gives you. I have no idea. But I digress. It's only a little minor thing that really doesn't mean much at the end of the day. It's just. It's something I found really weird, ladies and gentlemen, that that basically some quests you get the Jiggy without having to backtrack, and in other quests they're just like, oh, come see us first. I don't know, I just found that weird. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Seaweed Sanctum. I don't like this place, and it's largely because well, it looks fine by here, but on my old TV, my old CRT TV, which I weren't using to record, thank God, I could never see my way through this place. This place used to be pitch black to me on my old TV, and these seaweed motherfuckers with their bloody Beyblade tactics, they used to terrify me. I hated these things. Obviously it's not that bad a place now that I'm older and not as much of a coward. Still a pretty big coward. You haven't seen me play a horror game yet. Oh boy, I'm terrible. Like if it's one thing I've always never been fond of, it's scary things. I'm never good at scary things. Like, movies I'm fine at, because I find scary movies bloody hilarious. They're terrible for the most part, but I don't know. When it comes to games, for some reason, it freaks me out whenever I'm in a really scary game. A good example is Amnesia. No. No. I played maybe about half hour of Amnesia, and that was enough for me. I was done. Of course, then again, I say that, but there's loads of games that loads of other people seem to find scary that don't faze me at all, so I don't know. Like, I heard loads of people were freaked out by Dead Space, and I played through the game and I thought it was literally nothing. It was just like, what's wrong with this? Sure, the monster designs are kind of disturbing, I guess, but, you know, I don't mind them. But I digress. Time to get the Jiggy out of this final bloody... I missed. God damn it. Kazooie, aiming on this sodding thing. Hoi. Aiming on that thing is a nightmare, I will be perfectly honest. But it's time to get our new transformation, ladies and gentlemen, and it's one of my absolute favourite transformations in this entire game. I shit you not. This transformation is, well, it's dope. Let's just say that. It's a pretty gnarly one, but you'll see in a few seconds. I'll just leave the tension stand by. Although it is really awkward to actually transform into the transformation in this world, because instead of jumping into the pool, you obviously need to swim downwards into it, and I don't know, I just find that to be really awkward to do. I don't know, it's just a little minor thing that annoys me, but the reason why we needed the water in here is because the transformation is obviously it's a submarine. And I love this transformation. It's one of my favorites in the entire game. For one thing, it looks oddly adorable. And it has torpedoes. And not the Kazooie kind of torpedoes. It has the real super-de-duper torpedoes, you know. This thing is amazing with infinite ammo, and you do want to transform into this before you tackle the boss. In my professional opinion, because it makes the boss fight a hell of a lot more easier. I mean, you don't have to. You can actually fight the boss as Kazooie and Banjo, but trust me, you're going to want to be Submarine Banjo to do the boss battle. That's just what I recommend, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Because for one thing, like I said, you have infinite missiles. You have infinite torpedoes, for Christ's sake. What's not to love about that? In fact, we can now even go into the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean here to do a little minigame. And of course the usual template for minigames still stand, you know, blue equals 3 points, green equals 2 points, and red equals 1 point. And it's literally just, you have torpedoes, swim around, have fun, go nuts, destroy everything. And I love this minigame. You know, a lot of the minigames, some people will probably argue, they're not the most original things in the world, because they, you know, it's generally the same concept over and over again with some slight variations, but I like that. I like the fact they're all different takes on a familiar idea, and you know, it just refines the idea and fleshes it out in multiple different ways. Like we're going to see this type of minigame again later down the line with the exact same sort of mechanic, except instead of shooting torpedoes under the sea, we'll be actually flying. We'll actually have to manage our button presses and stuff, and I mean, it adds an extra layer of challenge onto the whole thing. But basically, I don't know, I just like these mini games. They're a nice way to space up the gameplay, I suppose. Space up, you know, they add a nice variety to the gameplay, and I appreciate that. What can I tell you? And of course, for collecting enough points, we do get a fantastic Jiggy. Oh, it makes me feel all tingly inside. So let's just grab this boot and head on out here, shall we? No, I do not want to play again, your gruntiness. I'm done with this. I'm happy. I'm happy as Larry that I got this Jiggy. So now it's time to access the boss battle of this world and basically be done with it for the most part. And this boss fight by here is one of the more intimidating boss battles in the game. I'll just say that much. Oh, and one of the more disgusting boss fights in the entire game. Because, well, for one thing, we're fighting a giant anglerfish. I hate these things. They've always freaked me out. Lord Woo Fark Fark. I love names. But yeah, this guy here, He's one of the harder bosses in the entire game, and one of the more trickier bosses in order to deal with, because you do need to manage where you're swimming, you do need to be very good at maneuvering underwater. So if you're playing as Banjo and Kazooie, this boss fight will probably give you quite a bit of trouble. This isn't easy. This is not an easy boss. But if you're the submarine, you can just sort of wail away at him until he takes damage. And yes, while Lord Wu Fak Fak doesn't have that many hit points, ew, blood. Basically, you need to hit his specific weak points whenever they glow yellow. Basically, his boils on his body will become fuck me lights, and you need to shoot the fuck me lights in order to make them explode into a blood-filled cloud, I suppose. And it's just a disgusting boss just because of that. I'm kind of glad they don't go the extra mile with the detail and make the water go more and more red as you fight him, because then actually that would be a nice little detail. Rareware, why didn't you do that? It would have been disgusting, but you know, I would have dug the, you know, done the it would have made a whole lot more, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know, it would have been an interesting graphical effect. I'm surprised they didn't actually go through with that, but then again, the ESRB probably would have come down on them, because I'm surprised it's got away with I think this got away with an E for everyone rated E, which is surprising with all the blood here, but you know, I digress. And also the music, oh my god, the boss theme is exquisite. Like, one of the, I will probably argue that some of the best music in this game is the boss themes. The boss fights are just, oh, the soundtrack's fantastic. Of course, I've been gushing about the soundtrack since the beginning of the starting LP. I can't help it. Frank Kirkhope does such a good job with the music, and it's so intense. I just love it. But yeah, shooting the boils on this guy is pretty much all you really need to do. And if you run into him, you won't get hurt, but you will be spun around quite literally, which will throw off your aim, and it will throw off, you know, your it'll make hurting him a lot harder. And you do need to watch out for his energy blast that he shoots out from time to time from the little light bulb thingy on his head. Of course, once we're done with the first phase, the boss fight will arguably either get easier or harder depending on who you are, because now his eyeballs are awesome. His eyeballs are open. How do we beat him? Well, now we need to shoot him in the eyes. That sounds really painful. Until he goes down, and again, this will be either extremely easy or extremely difficult depending on your luck. And if you're playing as Banjo and Kazooie, this part will give you trouble, because you're going to need to flap around down at the bottom of the ocean in order to pick up more eggs and stuff, because I think you need grenade eggs in order to take this boss down. I'm pretty certain. I'm not actually sure, but I'm pretty certain you'll need them, but basically, this is all about maneuverability, you know. If you can maneuver around the ocean just fine, then you'll eventually be able to war of attrition this boss fight without too much trouble. But you know, if you're a pleb like me, you can barely swim, this boss will take you some time. But you know, I like the boss fight nonetheless. It's just a little bit troublesome when you first play it, but there he goes. He is gone, and well, things seem to have gone belly up. I just made that joke. You don't steal my joke, Lord Wu Fak Fak. Fak 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 Fak. The angler fish. Get. Ugh. Let's just get the sodding jiggy and get out of here before I make more mess of my tongues. I don't know why you said that, because unfortunately I left. I was an idiot. But anyway, just moving on back to Womba's Hut. I didn't want to show off me transforming again, because I'm pretty certain no one wants to see the backtracking back here. Editing is lovely, is it not? Now that we're back here, I'm gonna end up by going up to that not submarine. It's not submarine. The UFO that we first saw when we first entered this water area of the world, and I think it's time we've paid the It's not a submarine. Paid the UFO a bit of a visit. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's just me. It's just me. Let's just go and pay that a visit. And to actually be able to do this with the UFO, you will need ice eggs as well as the Kazooie torpedo power because, well, the next part of the mission... Really? I hate these octopuses. Because we do need the ice eggs in order to actually complete the task that is about to be given to us, you know, ladies and gentlemen. No, I've grown a bigger hatred for those octopuses since I started recording this session, and I don't know why, because they usually don't give me trouble. It's not like I'm talking about it as if I'm recording this live. I'm not recording this live, the game's all recorded already, so I have no idea. Maybe it's just watching it back that it's more frustrating than when I'm playing. You know, yeah, I'll go with that. Maybe it's more frustrating with those octopuses when I'm watching it back. But I digress. Anyway, we are now inside the UFO and, hey, aliens, what's up, bro? They have the typical sort of, I don't know if it's really a typical sound effect for aliens, but every time I think of aliens, the sort of sound effect they have when they're talking by here, I've always associated with alien things. I don't know where this sound effect came from. I don't know if it was made by Rareware and it's a Rareware thing that just sort of stuck in my head for some reason. I don't know. But either way, we do need to utilize these ice eggs in order to turn on each of these engines. Basically, shoot at it, and the crystals will start glowing and rotating, and basically we need to just activate the engine before the time limit goes to 0. There is going to be a Minjo in this room, so completely ignore it. We can't access this UFO after we've done this quest. We're done with this UFO basically after this point. So obviously they won't put a real Jinjo in here. So ignore that Minjo there unless you want to blow him up and just for your own personal satisfaction. And to be honest, it's very tempting anyway, because I don't know, call me a masochist? Is that the word? Call me crazy, but whenever I'm playing a video game, having an excuse to blow something up is, it makes me happy. What can I tell you? Now, where is this Gitz? There he is. Come here, you Minjo freak. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. But of course, as soon as we leave the UFO, we will never be able to access this area again. This is the only time in this game we'll be able to enter this place. So, yeah, I got nothing, just turn the engine on and leave, that's basically it. And there we go, there's a nice fantastic Jiggy for us to utilize. Yes. Awful earthling water, how dare you? I love this. Don't diss our planet. I mean, it's not the perfect planet, but it's cool. It's blue. Blue is a nice color. But I digress. Anyway, we're done with that now, so let's just grab this Jiggy, and we're pretty much done with the world now for the most part, I believe. We can't really do anything else here with the exception of maybe getting a couple more cleanup before we actually exit the world itself from Jolly. So yeah, we're basically done with this world now, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to move on to the next one, and I'm actually kind of struggling to remember what the next world is off the top of my head. I think it's a certain world that I don't want it to be, but I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, the next world I think I know what it is. I won't spoil it just in case I'm wrong and I'll look like a fool on the internet. Because I'm very bad with my memory. Like, even if I know the game like the back of my hand, I'll always get things mixed up. Unless I'm playing it when muscle memory will kick in, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of people are probably screaming at me from the previous part because I ignored a bunch of Jiggies that are in this bar. Don't worry, I'm picking them up, Jesus Christ. I can see the YouTube comments now. Because I sort of upload these way in advance after recording them, but I can sense the comments in the previous part saying, you missed the not the Jiggies, the bloody notes, and I'm sorry. I'll get them eventually. Good God, calm down. There we go. See, told you I'll pick these up. Hoi. That's beside the point. Anyway, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this part. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all next time as we gain access to the next world of the game. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you after. Bye!